Hi and welcome everyone to session 1. This is about Konnakol and why I think that Konnakol and the Indian rhythmic system in general are highly useful and beneficial for any musician in the world. Not just Indian musicians, but any musician, singer or composer from any genre of music. The Indian rhythm tradition is known to be the most sophisticated and scientific one. And this scientificness leads itself to mathematics. And we know that mathematics are the foundation of every rhythm tradition in the world, but also life more in general, like architecture and even nature for that matter. If we only look deep enough, and that is what the Indian system offers through the mathematical structures. You can look at rhythm like through a magnifying glass, or through like a microscope, and you can really find out how rhythm works and what are the fundamentals of rhythm. So that's a great training in itself, and that is what I call ironing out the wrinkles, of rhythm. Because I remember when I was younger, sometimes I would play a rhythm, but I wouldn't quite know where it was. And that could be great if you're performing and it could work, because it may have a spontaneous feel to it. But the moment you want to work with that phrase, you need to look into it and you need to understand what it is. And that is what Indian rhythm offers you. It offers you a big clarity on how rhythm works in general. And you do this with the help of mathematical structures and patterns. So there's an infinite number of patterns and formulas that you can apply to any rhythmical phrase. And that rhythmical phrase doesn't have to be an Indian phrase. It could be any phrase, again, from any genre. And you can take that and basically apply different mathematical structures to it. And that way you can compose new music, you can derive on many more variations, which may help you to compose, to create music, or just to train. Let's say if you wanted to get better in odd meters, making variations in 7s and 9s and 11s. There's an infinite pool of repertoire there. Or if you wanted to go more into subdivisions, let's say quintuplets and septuplets, you could apply these mathematical structures. Of course, you can also apply them to triplets and 16th notes, which is what we're more used to. But really, it gives you, a great sense of understanding. And I'm not saying that you will be able to play any rhythm in the world, because my experience is that if you want to play a certain musical style, you have to go there and live there. So I'm not saying through Indian rhythm you could play Cuban music, but you can understand it. I mean, literally, you can understand any rhythm in the world. If you've only, spent some time with the Indian system, you'll be able to immediately grasp and navigate. And that's what it is. It's a system for navigation within rhythm. You'll be able to navigate in any rhythmical, situation, really. Okay, so how does it work? Well, there is a language which is called Konnakol. And Konnakol is a rhythmical language from the south of India. There are, by the way, many around India, coming from different instruments. But Konnakol is from the south. And it works very much like a language, but it's sung and recited in time and in rhythm. So imagine having a letter and then joining 2 or 3 letters together which become a syllable, and joining a few syllables together so they become a word, and then joining a few words and you have a sentence. And when you have that, you can see the rhythm in front of you. And on another note, that's also a beautiful way of realizing that rhythm and music is a language, and it is a means for communication. So you can experience that in a very raw form. But going back to what happens when you see that rhythm, Let's say you see that rhythm and then you realize the different elements to it, and then you can start to shuffle them around and to make more variations from it. And again, those little parts, those little units don't have to be Indian at all. They could come from any style of music, really, you know. You just learn the tools to work with them. So that's mathematics. Another aspect, for example, is poetry, which is really something that's, I think, in a Western context, quite unusual, you know, to look at rhythm and drumming in a poetic way. Yes, maybe in an African setting or Japanese, I think there may be parallels. But what the Indian system again offers is something quite unique. There's many compositions which are like poems. They are not so based on mathematical structures, but on the beauty and the aesthetic of sound. And what that does is it offers you a different perspective on sound. Just by playing it, you may be able to incorporate something into your music which is completely different and you know, completely fresh to you. So another great aspect about Konnakol is that you have to sing it before you play it. So really, it's about internalizing the rhythm first, and then it doesn't really matter whether you play it on a piano or on a drums or on a sitar. The rhythm is the same, and what that does again is it teaches you a lot about tempo and about timing, and about connecting to what you play, you know, and understanding what you play. So that in itself is a great tool for, you know, getting your tempo more solid, for example, your timing. And it's a lot of fun. I mean, I think gone will be the days where you'll be sitting at an airport not knowing what to do, because it's a bug, you know. Once you get it, you'll be sitting and you know, trying these rhythms, singing them, probably annoying the people next to you on the flight, on the train. But what comes with it, and this comes the more you understand, it comes sort of a big window opens up about what you could do with it, you know, because these are all patterns and formulas, and very soon you'll come to a point where you will want to experiment, and you'll think like, oh, what would happen if I was going to exchange those phrases? Would it still work? You know, is it going to come in a 4/4? Or if I wanted to compose something for 5/4, how would I do it? So once you get on it, you'll be pretty hooked, I think. Yeah. Okay, well, that's it for now. I hope this inspires you to reach out and to learn something new. And look out for the other videos on this page, where I will be talking about basic concepts of Konnakol, but also later on about more in-depth analysis of rhythms and structures that I've composed or that I've played. Okay, well, see you next time. Bye.
Stop.